What's going on, everybody? It's Justin from Sillage Scents. This is attempt number 2 at doing this video. My family is playing a board game and they can be very noisy. Hopefully we'll get through this one. Today I have got an amazing kind of hidden gem clone fragrance that will blow your mind, that you could probably go out in the next half hour and buy at a local retailer. I'm talking about a clone of by Killian's Black Phantom. I was very surprised. I knew nothing about this a couple days ago. I saw it in a video. I went out and got it yesterday morning, and I am super impressed, and I want to share it with you. So we're going to dive into this, but before we do, please consider giving the like button a click if you like this video, and go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done that. I've got videos coming out every couple days, and I'm always trying to provide you guys with inexpensive or unique fragrances that maybe you don't know about yet. So here we go. So in the first video, I already sprayed some of the original DNA on my hand out of a decant just so that I could do a side-by-side. And I am going to talk about that again in this video. But the fragrance I'm talking about that is heavily inspired by Black Phantom is this one right here, Coffee and Whiskey by Bath and Body Works. I hope the camera is focusing for me. This is a surprise from Bath and Body Works. Years ago, they had some fragrances that I really liked. They had a couple that I really like, but for years, they've been doing mostly just kind of soapy or fresh, aquatic, stuff that's not that interesting. But this one, Coffee, Whiskey, Dark Chocolate, this is very unique. You can get it for $40 right now, although they had a sale yesterday where if you bought some other things, you could get it for $20 a bottle. So right here, Coffee and Whiskey, I want to tell you about it. Now, the original Black Phantom, I will say, it is definitely a niche fragrance. It's gourmand and it's got notes like coffee and chocolate that could be crowd-pleasing, but it's done in a particular way where the boozy note is very strong. I would say it could even be off-putting for some, especially if you're not used to, niche boozy fragrances. And in addition to that, the dark chocolate note and the coffee note have a little bit of bitterness. Now, I've come to love that DNA. I think it is fantastic. I have a couple clones that I would say are closer to Black Phantom, like the Alexandria clone, Dark Night, is almost indistinguishable. I've got another one that is very close. This one has some differences, but I can tell you this is absolutely a more wearable, more mass-pleasing version of by Killian's Black Phantom. So this one right here, Coffee and Whiskey, whenever I do the side-by-side, what I immediately notice is that the Killian's is definitely got more of, there's a particular almost sort of a rubbery feel that comes from the whiskey and the bitterness from the dark chocolate and the coffee that is in the original that you're not going to get a whole lot of here. Now, this is still a whiskey boozy fragrance, absolutely. If you didn't smell it next to the original Black Phantom, you'd probably even say, wow, that's a pretty boozy fragrance. It's still got the darkness from the coffee and a little bit of bitterness, and from the dark chocolate, a little bit of bitterness. But this, by Bath and Body Works, Coffee and Whiskey, is significantly sweetened. And that edginess of the overwhelming booziness is rolled back a bit. And that sort of rubbery tone that I've actually come to love in Black Phantom, it is significantly reduced because the boozy note is reduced and the bitterness from the coffee and chocolate are reduced. So what you end up with is a gorgeous, mass-pleasing compliment monster. I got 2 compliments on this fragrance yesterday while I was wearing it. It's a much more mass-pleasing, I would say more, compliment-leaning fragrance because it's just a beautiful, gorgeous, sweet gourmand with a very noticeable boozy note and some coffee and some chocolate and some other fragrances. It does not smell as niche, obviously, as Black Phantom, but I will tell you, I think there's still some quality in this fragrance. I sprayed 4 sprays on my hand yesterday, and honest to goodness, I got 8 hours from 7 a.m. until 4 when I finally cleaned up. We traveled all day, but those 4 sprays on the back of my hand, without a break, I was getting wafts of what, to my mind, without going side by side, smelled pretty much just like Black Phantom. I was getting wafts of that, boozy, dark, coffee, chocolatey fragrance. I knew immediately this is sweeter than Black Phantom. I knew immediately this is not quite as, I don't know if bitter, pungent, whatever the word is. It's missing a little of that something from Black Phantom. But for 8 hours, it was pumping and I had a scent bubble around me. I was getting consistent wafts. 4 sprays did that. If I wore 8 to 10 like I normally would, then I would have been, this thing would have been rocking. My guess would be for 10 or 12 hours. I could still smell it from here at 8 hours whenever I went and cleaned up after we'd been traveling for 6 or 7 hours. But it performs well. It's very close. I would say probably in that 85% similar range, maybe bumping a little higher than that. But it's changed to be more mass-pleasing. Someone who doesn't like Black Phantom, because the things I talked about earlier, could smell this and be like, oh, I love that, without even necessarily, it's just, it's so similar, immediately what they're doing, but it's different enough that some of those more niche elements that could turn some away from Black Phantom have been dialed back, and this one is made into a beautiful, gourmand, mass-pleasing compliment monster of a fragrance. So I highly recommend it. It's $40 retail, but they often run specials at Bath & Body Works. If I would have bought 2 other bottles of something, then I would have got this for $20. And they do specials like that with buy one, get one and things like that. So I'm very happy with this one. I want to know in the comments, have you tried this yet? Are you going to go get it at a Bath & Body Works near you? I hope they hang on to this. I hope they do other things like this, because to be able to go somewhere like Bath & Body Works and get a fragrance like this, I'm looking forward to F.A. Paris coming out with Spectre Wraith, which will be probably a more accurate clone of Black Phantom. Right now you can get Alexandria's clone, which is incredibly close. But I actually like now having something that's a little bit different that honestly I'd be more comfortable wearing day to day. This is a killer pickup. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Again, please subscribe if you haven't done that, and please give the video a like. I am Justin, and this has been Sillage Scents.